Picture a small northern town where safety is supposed to be simple. You lock your doors, you turn on your porch light, you shovel your driveway. Normal stuff, right? But in this town, locking your doors can get someone killed. Porch lights don't scare away what's out there. And your driveway, well, if you see tracks in it, you pray they're not fresh. This is Churchill, Manitoba. Population, less than 900. One grocery store, one main road, one train that sometimes shows up, one hospital with under 20 beds, no roads to the outside world, and one problem. And it's a problem that's so big, so powerful that the town had to build a facility to put it in. A facility unlike anything else on Earth. A facility tourists think is a joke until they learn what's inside. Today, tonight, we're going to head to the edge of the Arctic, to a place where the wild doesn't stay, well, out there. It walks right into town, and sometimes it won't leave. And that's when Churchill calls, and the one thing standing between civilization and something that never learned to fear it. A place locals call Bear Jail. Welcome back, everybody, to the Yore Town Podcast. The voice you're hearing, it's Matt. I'm a little sick, so sorry if it sounds weird, but joining me as always, the one, the only, the beautiful Dun Queen, Meg.
Hello.
What's up, Meg? Also a little under the weather.
Yeah. Tis the season.
That's what they always say, 'tis the season. Don't say that around Uncle Barncat. He gets fired up about it. It's always 'tis the season. It's always 'tis the season. But I was sitting there today, and the oldest said something that triggered us to go down memory lane with pictures, and then you were showing me a vehicle, and then there was a vehicle that you got, that you hit a bear once.
Yep.
So I started thinking, not only was that story fresh in my brain, Coach Sweeney, old Zach, the original co-host of the Yore Town Podcast, said, I got a story for Yore Town that you guys have to cover. And he sent me this, and I was like, there's no way this is real. He saw it on a Reddit thread, and I dove deep into it. And apparently it's real. And that's where we're here. Place locals call Bear Jail. Do you have any ideas? Do you have anything? And again, Meg I don't tell her things. She just listens to this almost like you are for the first time and just adds in some tidbits. So you have any inklings? Is that the right word? Inklings on this? Or no? All right. Want to jump right into this?
I want to just hear it.
You just want to hear. This one's interesting. A spoiler alert, this is not a true crime one. Technically, maybe, but this one is just so wild, pun intended, that we had to do it. I could not learn about this. So here we are. Without further ado, you ready, Meg?
I'm ready.
I'm more than ready. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Some people call this the gateway to nowhere because Churchill sits at the 58th parallel. Do you think they still teach that in school? Parallels and stuff like that?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Me neither. I couldn't tell you where the 58th parallel is, and I'm pretty sure I was taught that. But this is where the northern lights burn bright enough to cast shadows. We've seen some northern lights, and how cool are they?
They're awesome.
We had one of the coolest ones when there was recently it was a meteor shower, sun flare and northern lights. It was unreal.
Yeah, they were pretty bright.
Pretty bright. Well, they're pretty bright here. They'll cast shadows. The wind, it sounds like it's carrying secrets. And where for almost half the year, Hudson Bay is a frozen white highway stretching nearly 1 million square kilometers. I don't know the conversion rate in that, but it's probably a lot of miles. But the town, it's actually cut off from the rest of Canada. Literally. Meg, there's no roads that actually lead to Churchill. None. Your only options to get here is fly on a turboprop plane that feels like it's held together by optimism, or ride the train, which is actually derailed numerous times because the permafrost under the tracks continues to melt and causes some issues. And 3, you don't go there at all. Everything the town needs, from lumber, groceries, medicines, snowmobile parts, diapers, gas, toothpaste, has to come in by rail or air. And when the tracks washed out in 2017 during pretty bad flooding that year, the town was cut off for 18 months.
Wow.
Prices of everything went through the roof. The shelves were bare. You would have thought the pandemic was back and people buying up toilet paper. And fuel had to be rationed because there was nowhere to get it. I mean, this is a place where succession planning literally includes, what if the train doesn't exist for a year? And if that sounds rough, that's nothing compared to what's waiting outside town. All right, we're really building this up. Churchill sits at ground zero for one of the greatest wildlife migrations on Earth. Every autumn, polar bears, the largest land carnivores alive, they gather around Hudson Bay waiting for the sea ice to form. They've spent summers starving. Polar bears aren't built for land hunting. Their whole bodies are designed for ice. Their claws, their muscles, their necks, which can actually drag a 300-pound seal across the ice. But in the summer, the food vanishes, so they wait. They're hungry. They're restless. And they get a little bit bolder every single day. And Churchill, unfortunately, is directly on the migration path. So if you're picturing a couple of bears passing by, Meg, Churchill sees hundreds each year. Some estimate that 900 polar bears will pass through the region every single year.
Wow.
To compare, Churchill has fewer people than they see during peak polar bear season. That is why the town has, earned the nickname the polar bear capital of the world.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
You'll think? But the nickname isn't cool. It's a warning. So in the 1960s and the 1970s, Churchill had a problem. A very smelly problem, Meg. The town dump. It was an open air, unregulated, and full of food scraps from the couple of restaurants that were there, the houses, the processing plants, whatever. So when the bears discovered it, not just one would come. They came in droves. Locals, they started to name it the Polar Bear Hilton. But it wasn't just a dump. It became the bear feedlot of Hudson Bay. Tour buses would line up at night. Kids on field trips would stare out windows at 1,000-pound bears tearing apart trash bags. Photographers, they would lean out of the vehicles with cameras the size of rifles. Some people, unbelievably, would then start to throw snacks out of the window. How stupid is that?
It sounds pretty dumb.
And the bears, guess what? They do what they do. They learned, and they learned pretty fast. When they saw humans, it equaled food. Cars equaled attraction. Town equaled opportunity. So by the 70s, dozens of bears wandered through Churchill each week. They weren't afraid. I mean, honestly, why would a polar bear be afraid of us in the town? You know what I mean? These people were feeding them for years and years. And then what do you think's going to happen?
They're going to start approaching.
And they start attacking. And of course, it's the bear's problem, right? Unfortunately, the attacks happened on Halloween. But Halloween season in Churchill gets pretty intense. Kind of like camping, you know? The bears, they're at their hungriest. The ice hasn't formed quite yet, and the nights are filled with darkness and fog. 1983, there was 2 major attacks that really started to shake the town and kind of open the eyes, and both happened within days of each other. Unfortunately, both happened as children prepared for Halloween. Attack number 1, we'll just give it a viewer and listener discretion advised, just in case some things are said on this. Bears, people, it's not going to go very well. A group of kids were just walking home at dusk when a polar bear charged out from behind a house. One boy was mauled before adults managed to distract the bear with noise. He survived. Barely. Attack number 2, a man was walking alone at night and he was ambushed by a bear, dragged into a ditch, did not survive. There were isolated events between the 60s and the early 80s. Multiple attacks were recorded as best as this small town record could. One of the worst to happen was in 68 when a child was attacked and killed near the train station. Churchill, they quickly, suddenly realized something terrifying. The Hilton, the self-named thing, had created generations of bears who didn't fear humans. They saw people as moving trash cans. So they decided to finally close the dump in 2005. Unfortunately, decades too late. They were trained for decades. It's going to take a while, I would imagine, to untrain them, right? But by then, the bears had already learned humans tasted okay to them. Something had really changed. Whew. What are you thinking so far, Meg? So then they decided, hey, we've had enough of the deadly attacks. Churchill had to form a frontline defense. So know what they created? The Polar Bear Alert Program, the PBAP. I wonder if there was a band name up there.
I mean, I feel like it needs to be.
There's opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Probably tough to get gigs in the one bar, the one restaurant, the one bank, the one town. But this Polar Bear Alert Program, they weren't park rangers. They are armed first responders whose job is to protect a town from predators that can outrun a racehorse. So the goal was to patrol 24/7 during peak season. Their gear included cracker shells, our explosive flashbang rounds, rubber bullets, air horns, flare launchers, night vision, tranquilizer rifles, and pickup trucks that were reinforced to withstand a bear impact, they thought.
Okay.
All makes sense, right? And then they had a couple of rules. The rules were if a bear comes within the danger zone, which is usually within town limits, it gets tased. Hazed, not tased. I don't know what a bear taser looks like. If it does come back, again, strike two, it gets trapped. That'd be wild trying to trap a polar bear. I have all I can do to trap a mouse, you know what I mean? If it then comes back and really pushes its luck again, it goes somewhere new. Somewhere the world has never seen before, Meg. The bear jail is born. Could you imagine being in town hall and being like, I propose we build a bear jail? They really missed an opportunity with not having Bear Grylls be the spokesperson of bear jails.
Right.
Maybe it could still be a thing, I guess, but let's talk about the bear jail. I feel like this is the star of the show, right? Construction began in 1979 and the facility opened in the early 1980s. The official name? The Polar Bear Holding Facility. Sounds professional, right? Unofficial name? Bear jail. The specs included 28 steel reinforced cells, solid metal doors, electric fencing, air-conditioned cells for the summertime, and 2 maternity cells for, what are they, sows, and cubs?
Yeah.
Or the female bears with the cubs?
Yeah.
Sows, whatever they are. And there was a dedicated helicopter bay. Inside, the rules were strict, Meg. No food ever. No human contact, no reward, minimal light, minimal stimulation. The bears are not treated like zoo animals. They're treated like dangerous offenders who need to forget why they ever came to town. Some bears, they would stay 2 days. Some stayed 30. Some stayed 40 plus. All of them were tagged, tracked, and monitored. When their time is up, you're probably wondering, what do? They get tranquilized, loaded into a cargo net, and airlifted by helicopter to remote release sites, often 40 miles or more away. This is real. This happens every year. But the system isn't perfect because some bears, they come back. Your initial thought on bear jail?
I get the concept of it. I mean, it's not a very easy solution
No,
to
but
come upon.
no, but I mean,
It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. If you could potentially have 900 bears roll through your town, polar bears that aren't scared of anything, and they keep coming, they give them a chance. Go, 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 go. But when they keep coming back, just like, I guess, treating them like humans, your ass is getting thrown in jail. Big old bear jail. Huh. But, yeah, I mean, in theory, I guess it's all right, you know? I'd like to see the bear judge. I mean, I know, I guess it'd just be interesting to be like, well, this bear, you're sentenced for a week. You're sentenced for 6 months. But it's a tough thing. I think you really then need to kind of look at them and be like, would they survive 40 days? You know what I mean? Like, because you're not going to bring them in there to kill them. That's
Right.
pretty inhumane. So, but bear jail does come with some risk. Anything that is a jail, right? November 1st, 2013, the same eerie time of the year as the 1983 attacks. Well, a woman steps outside her Churchill home before sun rises. She didn't see the bear. Not until the bear was already on top of her. Neighbors woke up to screams. A man rushed out to help unarmed in pajamas, and the bear attacked him as well, biting into his head and neck. Polar bear alert scrambled. Flashbangs cracked through the dark. The bear bolted through the town. Finally, an officer fired a lethal shot. One of the only times Churchill has ever killed a bear in decades. Both victims, they survived, but barely. So after 2013, security tightened even more. More patrols, not mole. I don't think moles are going to stop anything. More deterrence, more reliance on the jail. Climate change is happening, they're thinking. And with all that being said, this was about to pour gasoline on the fire, because Hudson Bay historically would freeze around that early November, but now, some years, it doesn't freeze until mid-December. We've seen that a little bit here,
Mm-hmm.
being right on the Canadian border, where there's some years we could go and camp on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's some years we got a foot of snow on October. Things are changing a little bit, whatever. Unfortunately for Hudson Bay, that's an extra month of starving bears that are wandering inland, an extra month of desperation, and an extra month near the town. So biologists recorded that polar bears around Hudson Bay, they lost more than 30% of their population between 87 and 2011. Adult males, they're thinning, cubs are dying at a higher rate, and bears are behaving erratically. I mean, they're trying to adjust over these decades as well. In 23, Churchill trapped how many bears do you think?
1,300.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. 24.
Oh,
24.
Oh, okay.
24, which was nearly triple what they caught a couple of years earlier.
I was thinking like overall.
Oh, sorry, just in 2023. There's probably a really good guess honestly, from the 80s to then. I mean, if they were getting 8 to 10, 28, 24 bears. Some weeks the jail was full, at that full capacity. Polar bear alert.
What happens if it's full and they have a new member? New convict.
Probably a special at the diner. I don't know. But I want a polar bear alert shirt.
You get out on good behavior. We need your cell.
You're out now, Lefty. It's such an interesting, weird thing, right?
Yeah.
So the polar bear alert logged hundreds of bear interactions, and some officers say they respond to more of these calls than actual human 911 calls. And this isn't slowing down. It's actually starting to ramp up because Churchill has files on specific bears who keep coming back. One adult male traveled nearly 60 miles back to town after it was released. Not once, but twice.
Please tell me they do mugshots.
Oh, if they don't, they're missing out on some social media and some funding, right? We're going to have to look this up while we're doing that. That would be, while I'm doing this, grab that phone over there and Google if Churchill, Manitoba bear jail does mugshots. While she's looking up that, there was a female with cubs that returned year after year and actually taught those cubs where garbage used to be. Isn't that wild, like how genetically they're trained? And then, Meg, there was a massive male, listen to this nickname, the bent door bear, because he actually twisted a steel cell door so badly that they had to replace it. If there's a mugshot of all, I want to see the bent door bear. But these bears, obviously, Meg, they're not stupid. They're hyper-adaptive predators capable of solving problems, remembering routes, and tracking scents for miles.
It says it does not.
Churchill, you're missing out on so much for social media. If anybody out there is listening, we will actually help you with your social media.
It says the focus is on managing the bear population, not on creating criminal records.
Okay. I want bear mugshots. Leave a comment right now on this video if you want bear mugshots as well. Because then you could have bear mugshots on mugs. No, awesome. I'd love to see the bent door bear Bob, or whatever is the bent door bear on a mug with a mugshot. All right. Well, you're missing out. But Meg, you know what the good news is? The jail, it works for many. But some bears, you just don't forget. Imagine this. It's 2:40 a.m. Temperature outside is negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit without the wind chill. Your breath turns to ice instantly. You're riding shotgun in a polar bear alert truck. You're armed with 2 cracker shells, a shotgun with a rubber round, a spotlight, a tranquilizer rifle in the back. You roll slowly past the grain terminal, past the seawall, past rows of homes with dark windows and no Halloween decorations. Trick-or-treating in Churchill now happens inside a controlled building, not door to door. Then you see it. A shadow, huge, white, moving between the houses. You shine the spotlight and 2 eyes flash right back at you. It's a polar bear, 7 foot tall at the shoulder, 900 pounds. It stands still. It's watching you. It's waiting. The officer grabs the loudest deterrent. Cracker shell. Fires. The explosion echoes off the bay. The bear flinches. Doesn't move. It knows the routine. Another cracker, another flash, finally grumbling. The bear turns away, disappearing back into the blackness beyond the town. You write it down, you log the sighting, and you hope it doesn't come back before daylight. This is every single night in Churchill during peak season. That's terrifying, is it not?
I feel like somebody needs to do an indie movie about this.
I think so too.
Like birds and like Night of the Lepus, all those movies. Power goes out.
In the jail.
Doors open. The worst of the worst.
Night, it's gonna be a
Are on the
jailbreak.
loose.
How terrifying would that be? All of a sudden you got 20-something bears.
Pitch black. Northern Lights.
Right? I can just see the red lights. And then the one person that's like on shift there tries to lock himself into a room as they're there and they're trying to get him because they're hungry and they're pissed. That Warden Bob. Then Bent Door Bear comes in and we just come up with our first indie movie. But, and you're probably thinking, is the bear jail still active today? It's active more than ever, Meg. Inside, you hear heavy breathing echoing through the steel corridors. You hear claws scraping concrete. You hear the huffing, the low growls of animals who should be miles out on the ice. I mean, these aren't like a polar bear that was in a zoo and then had some babies, was bred in a zoo, and have been decades trained to just like be in a zoo. These are killers that are instinctively wanting to eat whatever they can. No visitors are allowed in this jail. Rightfully so. Cameras, they're very restricted. Apparently, they don't take mugshots. Even staff don't linger near the cells because, let's be honest, one bear swipe, even through the bars, probably could take off an arm or a leg or definitely some fingers. The bears are monitored twice a day. Their stress levels are documented. Their tags are checked. Their release windows are evaluated constantly. And I'm sure as the decades evolved, the science and the treatment of all of them are in a much better spot. Some bears, they just sit there and pace for hours. Some just chill and sleep. Some slam themselves against the walls in the bars relentlessly. But all of them, they're all waiting. They want that ice. They want that escape. They want another chance at survival. But let's be honest, if Churchill didn't exist, if nobody lived here, this might be one of the greatest wildlife sanctuaries on Earth. But people do live here. And the bears, they're not going away. And I don't think the people are either, right? I'm assuming the bears have been there a lot longer than the city, right? That town walks a razor-thin line between danger and coexistence. I mean, every day, every night, every fall for decades. The bear jail isn't cruelty. It isn't punishment. It's the only reason the town hasn't become uninhibitable. And the only reason polar bears aren't shot by the dozens every year. It's kind of like a stalemate, a compromise, or even a tense truce between two apex species. And in Churchill, the wild isn't something you visit. It's something that might be standing on your porch right now. How much money would it take you a year to live in Churchill? Like, I have to imagine. There's like Alaska and certain places. If you live there long enough and you're a resident, you actually get a paycheck from the government. I wonder if people in Churchill, Manitoba, get a little bit of a cut from Canada's Uncle Sam.
I think I could do it.
You think so?
It's not much different than here.
I don't know, except for
the polar bears, but I mean, common sense.
Yeah. Huh. I couldn't do it.
I think I could.
All right. So what's the price? How much money till we move to Churchill, Manitoba and see how long we can make it?
I'm not saying I want to.
Okay, then we're not.
I'm saying I think I could do it, but it doesn't mean I want to.
What would be your price tag?
I'm trying to move away from the cold.
Heck yeah. Me too. Can't come soon enough. What's the price tag? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, 100,000, $20?
Do $1 million.
$1 million? I need like 3.2. Just knowing that I'm there. You know what I mean? And if the train goes there and we need to be able to afford a turboprop plane. You know, and I gotta learn how to fly that thing. In case I just need to get out. See the kids every once in a while. No, they're not gonna just surprise us. All right. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Let's put a bow on it.
Okay.
The rest of the world, a predator wandering into town is a story. But here, they just call that Tuesday. Churchill didn't choose the bears didn't choose Churchill. But both are stuck together at the edge of the Arctic trying to survive a world changing faster than either of them can adapt to. When the ice melts later, and the nights grow colder, and the bears grow hungrier, the people of Churchill know one thing. The jails, they're going to fill up. The calls, they're going to start again. And somewhere out in that dark, there's going to be a pair of black eyes that are going to be watching you. Waiting, learning, returning. This was the Yore Town Podcast. I'm Matt, and that's Meg. We'll be back next week. What'd you think of it? Was it good?
That was a good one.
It was a good one?
Interesting.
Yeah. let's research something interesting again next week, a random topic. All right. And if you guys liked it, let us know. We'll mix it in. We'll mix it up. Maybe we'll do a little bit better. We won't be just true crime. We'll mix it up. Maybe we'll find something local. Dive deep into that. There's a lot of interesting cases that have happened local that are unsolved and stuff. Maybe we'll dabble in them as well. Rock the boat a little. Don't rock the boat. All right. Let's go feed the kids before a polar bear comes rolling through.
Okay.
And by polar bear, I mean our hungry kids who are hangry and they act like polar bears. Sound good?
It sounds good.
All right, we'll get out of here. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.